And now I'm joined by CRTV's John Miller. He's the host of the White House Brief, and he's got some dirt on the left that I think he'd like to share with our audience. Now, if you're a never-Trumper, one of the big problems with Trump is that you'd have to turn a blind eye, supposedly, to some corruption just to advance your team. But now, if you're really against Trump and you want to see him defeated, you've got a little bit of something that you've got to turn a blind eye to, and it's getting more and more difficult to be in that spot. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like every single day we're getting stuff that shows that this entire Russian collusion investigation is just rigged. It's honestly a witch hunt. And one of the latest developments, which I kind of got a kick out of, was the U.S. district judge that they referred the case to, that's now overseeing the investigation into Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, is a Clinton minion. She's also a George Soros minion. She was Bill Clinton's and Hillary Clinton's, because Hillary Clinton was picking Bill Clinton's attorney generals for him, and she was kind of in that. She was their second pick for attorney general, and it turns out that she actually stepped out of the choosing because of the fact that she hired an illegal immigrant to be her nanny. Back then, you have to remember that illegal immigration was not cool on both parties, so it wasn't just that, now that would be totally fine. Back then, not so much. And then the other thing that prevented her from getting that gig with the Clintons as attorney general was the fact that she was a Playboy bunny in training. She dropped out, so she didn't actually finish the course, but she was training to be a Playboy bunny. But that's kind of all ancillary stuff, and it's kind of funny to laugh about. But the fact that she is that tight with the Clintons, and then the fact that she married George Soros to his wife, which you remember, George Soros has his fingers in everything, in charge of MoveOn.org, the Open Society Foundation. He also funded the Women's March. There's a list of things that George Soros has his finger and his money in.
Just to be clear, she married him, meaning she officiated his wedding.
She officiated the wedding, exactly.
Okay.
She did not get married to him. She officiated the wedding. But out of all the district judges that you could choose, you're telling me that it is a coincidence that the one that gets chosen to see Donald Trump's lawyer's case happens to be the one that's tied to George Soros? I'm not buying it. And on our side, we are people on the right, and conservatives, Republicans, they recuse themselves if they think someone is going to even smell a conflict of interest. And yet in this case, we have someone who it seems like they're intentionally choosing people who are tied to people on the left who are intent on bringing down Donald Trump in the presidency.
Well, what's going on, just to be clear to our viewers as well, is who is Michael Cohen and what is she doing to Michael Cohen?
Right. Well, I mean, he originally wanted to say, okay, they raided his office, and he said, okay, I first want to have my lawyers, my attorney-client privilege, I want to have them be able to look into what we release to the public and what we don't, kind of like what Hillary Clinton was allowed to do with her emails.
Right.
So they wanted to do that. And then what happened is she kind of ruled, and she said, no, our prosecutors are going to be the ones who get to make that decision.
Right.
So already right at the bat, it's an unfair, the raid in itself was unfair, but now at least not even giving the attorney-client privilege that ability to look through and sort the documents is even more unfair.
Right, and what's significant about this is that, of course, Michael Cohen, just in case you don't know, viewers, is the personal lawyer of Trump, Donald Trump's lawyer for quite some time. And this Cohen case, openly on the left, what they're talking about is, this could lead us to the material that will allow us to impeach the president. So they're sending up, and the judge overseeing the case that could build the case for impeaching a Republican president is a Democratic operative who officiated George Soros' wedding and also had an illegal alien maid and was a Playboy bunny. I mean, all of this stuff is just like, why would this not be a scandal? Well, it's not a scandal because everyone in the media seems to be willing to turn the other way, except for good folks like you, John. This is pretty wild.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, you couldn't write a novel, you couldn't write a sitcom or a TV show with this much good stuff. I mean, it's just straight out of a movie.
When I first heard this stuff and I watched your White House brief when you reported on this initially, I thought to myself, John's making this up. In other words, he's on the payroll of some right-wing George Soros figure who makes this stuff up to embarrass the left. I'm sure of it. But I looked it up, and you were right. You weren't lying on behalf of right-wing George Soros. So thank you.
It's incredible. But this is the world we live in. I want this thing to end. It just is getting more and more ridiculous by the day.
Well, we'll keep updated by you by watching the White House brief at CRTV. Is that right?
Yes, you can find it. Go to CRTV.com. You can also find us at Facebook.com/CRTV. Also, I wanted to plug, shameless plug here, I have a pilot that you can watch. It's called Out of the House. We're covering kind of all the stuff that I don't cover on the White House, all the cultural issues. But it's really fun. We have great guests. We interview Anthony Scaramucci, and you can find that on CRTV.com as well.
All right. So, viewers, next time you go on to Facebook to watch the Stephen Herreid Show, you might, I guess, subscribe also.
Yeah, you might wander over to CRTV's page and then subscribe, and you can use my promo code. Not that I'm pushing a product or anything.
All right. That's all right. No, thank you very much, John. I can't wait to have you on again soon.
Thanks, Stephen.